Hey, what's going on, guys? I am hopping in here for a second. I wanted to, first of all, say hello, and I hope you guys are having a good day. Um, I thought that it would be worthwhile to kind of give you some updates on a really important news story that a lot of people have been following. In case you haven't, paid attention, there's the shooting that took place in Dallas. There was the brother, Botham Jean, I believe that's how you pronounce his name, who was shot by a cop. The cop was later revealed by the internet, not by the authorities, but by the internet to be a woman named Amber Geiger. And so this woman, Amber Geiger, she claimed when it all went down, she claimed that she accidentally walked into this black man's apartment and shot him. Right, shot him dead, and that's the story that she gave the cops. That's the story that everybody believed. That's the story that everybody kind of ran with in the media. Well, it turns out that that's not. That doesn't appear to be what actually happened. There's a lot of stuff that's being reported right now to basically show that that this woman is probably lying. There's a big chance that she's lying, and I wanted to kind of make you aware of that. Now, let me dig up some of this. I see Nakia Clarkson here. She says, "Love the Black Business School, third class in." Oh wow, well thank you, sister. I appreciate that endorsement. Tell all your friends about how great the Black Business School is. We're actually to the point where we're actually comfortable enough to tell people, look, if you can't afford to send your child to the expensive universities or the $30,000, $40,000 a year schools, send them to the Black Business School. We have professors just like you have at HBCUs. Everybody that teaches there is a former faculty member, pretty much everyone there, or an attorney or a business owner. So they can actually teach you more for lower cost. So thank you for the endorsement. I appreciate that. But anyway, let me dig back into this. So this thing with Amber Geiger. Amber Geiger is this cop in Dallas that is now being charged with the shooting of Botham Jean. She's claiming that this young black man was sitting in his apartment, or she claimed that she accidentally walked into his apartment and she thought he was an intruder because she thought she was in her own place, and so she shot him, which just sounds like a crazy story. This guy's sitting in his place like by himself, and she just walks in and shoots him. I mean, that's a nightmarish scenario. When I first heard the story, my first thoughts were, okay, was she drunk or high? Did they test her system? What's the toxicology report? And what's fascinating to me is, and this kind of shows you how the media kind of sees you as black people. This is why black people, we need our own media, which we're developing that. That's why the real truth is actually coming out. It's fascinating that, that even before I could find out what was in her bloodstream, they come back and they report, oh, well, marijuana was found in his apartment. What's that got to do with anything? He's dead. He's the victim. What the hell? Who cares if he had marijuana in his apartment? Like really? Is that really how low you guys are gonna go with this? And it drives me crazy because we live in this world where if it's a white woman, if a white woman is a victim of a crime, like say sexual assault or harassment, if you even ask her like, what were you doing in his hotel room, that you're going to be attacked. Like no, you can't do that. That's shaming the victim. That's shaming the victim, right? But yet, when a black man gets murdered, first thing they say is, well, he had weed in his apartment. First of all, weed does not cause you to go off and go crazy and need to be shot. Second of all, I just find it fascinating how the rules shift and change when you're talking about black people versus when you're talking about everybody else. This is why I tell you guys all the time that black people really don't have any friends. This should be offensive to everyone, but it's not. It's only offensive to you. And the reason that there's not a national outcry about it is because nobody cares what you think. Um, anyway, with that being said, this story has developed further. So first, there's the lie about about why what she was doing and why she was there. But then there's this video. I don't know if anybody's seen that video. The video where someone, I love it. I love, there's a sister who was a kind of jumping into the investigative reporter role, and she went to the apartment complex where the shooting allegedly happened. Anybody see that video where a guy showed her that you cannot get into the wrong apartment using your key fob? If you have the wrong key fob, they have the key fobs where you put it up against the magnet or the light or whatever, and the light goes off and turns green to let you in, or red to tell you you can't come in. If you have the wrong key fob, you can't just walk into somebody else's place. So of course, then that's when they changed the story again. They're like, oh, no, the door was open. He left the door ajar and she just walked in and blah, and then shot him. Well, again, that was contradicted by people who said, no, actually, this guy was pretty meticulous and pretty careful. He wouldn't just leave his door open like that. He wouldn't just forget to shut his apartment door. And what's really interesting about this line of conversation so far is it's just fascinating how a black man who is murdered illegally, has to pretty much be an angel to exonerate himself from the grave. Literally, if you are a black man and you have a parking ticket and somebody shot you, if you are a dead black man with a parking ticket, they're going to find a way to vilify you. And so anyway, this brother, so people came back and said, no, actually, that's not true. He's pretty meticulous. He wouldn't just leave his door wide open like that so people can walk in and shoot him. So now there's more information being revealed, and I'm gonna those of you on Facebook or actually I'm on YouTube can see the screen share. If you're not on YouTube, if you're on Instagram, just go to drboycetv.com and you can actually see what everybody else is seeing. That's drboycetv.com. Make sure you subscribe when you get there. I'm going to show you guys some of the stuff that this ridiculous woman had on her Facebook page. Turns out she was a complete racist, at least based on what people say. So what they did was here's what happened. So right after it all went down, this lady, and you can see her face right here, Amber Geiger, when it all went down, she immediately went to social media and deleted everything, deleted her Twitter, deleted her Instagram, deleted her Facebook, got rid of everything. What they forgot about was Pinterest. Either she didn't delete it, or maybe you can't delete everything off Pinterest. I don't know. But they found a Pinterest account with the username Geiger, and the screen name is Amber, and the woman pretty much looks like her. It's her, like almost like the R. Kelly video, like we know what you look like. And here's some of the stuff that she said that's really interesting on her page. Now, some of it can be described as just her being pro-cop. She's definitely very, very pro-cop. I don't think being pro-cop automatically makes you anti-black. I'm not in that category. I know a lot of cops who are pro-cop and pro-black, right? And I have respect for officers who do their job the right way, and that will never change. I will never be a person who hates all police officers. That's not who I am. My dad was a cop. So I know enough good cops and bad cops to know that they come in all shapes and sizes. But, but at the same time, though, I do know in the police culture that there is a disrespect for poor people, especially black people, poor black people, whatever, people that you might define before the fact to be criminals. It comes from media. Media is always portraying the black man as the most dangerous threat in society, when really the greatest threats in society are white men and white women, right? The white male, those are the terrorists. Those are the ones who do the mass shootings and all this other crazy stuff. The white female is the one who is most likely to falsely accuse a black man of a crime, or accuse him of doing something that he did not do, and people assume she's an angel because she's a white female. This case is a perfect example. If a black man has shot a white woman in the same situation, there is absolutely no way that this story would even be believed. There's no way that people would just assume that this black man just walked into the wrong apartment and shot this white woman or whatever, right? So anyway, let me keep going. So here's one thing she says. She says, I have to explain, sometimes there's justice, sometimes there's just us. You wouldn't understand. Now, I don't know what that means. I'm thinking, given that the meme is bluish and has blue and gray in there and white, I'm thinking that that's a cop meme. Those seem to be like cop colors. Here's another one. She says, when the police riot for the death of a brother, they do it with class. Now, I don't know. Again, this could be interpreted as being a pro-cop statement. When the police riot for the death of a brother, they do it with class. It could be a pro-cop statement, right? Or it could be an anti-black statement, right? Riot for the death of a brother, right? How often, if you say, they're rioting over the death of a brother, that's usually going to cause people to think about black people, right? You're going to be thinking about the black community. Oh, a bunch of crazy ass black people are rioting over the death of a brother, right? So I think that those specific words, riot and brother, were used with a racial undertone. But then again, does that prove she's racist? I don't know. It depends on how you look at it. But let's keep going because I ain't done yet. Here's another one that says that she clearly, could be defined as somebody who might be a homicidal maniac. Read this comment here. She sounds like a trigger happy cop. She says, I wear all black to remind you not to mess with me because I'm already dressed for your funeral. Now, when you say something like that, I wear all black to remind you not to mess with me because I'm already dressed for your funeral. That statement, it could be a joke. It could be seen as a joke for some people, right? I don't know. I wouldn't take it as a joke. I wouldn't see it that way. It's not a joke when, it's coming out of the mouth of a cop. It's not a joke when it comes out of the mouth of somebody who's been authorized by the state to use deadly force to kill people if necessary, if she deems it necessary. It's not funny when you consider the fact that a lot of people become cops. This is another thing. This is another thing I know about cops because, again, my father was a cop. So I know all cops aren't bad people, but I know that there's a lot of cops who are mentally disturbed. There are a lot of people who go to the police force because maybe they were bullied as kids or they always wanted to have that power. So they try to get into the force so they can have that power and authority over other people. A lot of them get stopped by the psychological tests. They test them and they find out they're crazy and they don't let them in. But there's always a few that kind of trickle in. And so when you see a statement like this, I wear all black to remind you not to mess with me because I'm already dressed for your funeral. That does not speak to a cop who might shoot somebody because she fears for her life. It signifies a cop who might shoot you because she's trying to be a badass. So let's keep going. Let me see here. Oh, here's another thing that she wrote in here. She wrote, yeah, I got me a gun and a shovel and gloves. If I were you, back the fuck up and get out of my fucking ass. Okay. I mean, it sounds like she's very immature. Probably shouldn't have a gun. Probably shouldn't have the authority of the state. Now here's another one. Okay, this is a reference to the thin blue line. Let's see. This says, there is a thin blue line which runs through the center of darkness. The darkness represents the evil in this world. The thin blue line represents our peacekeepers. The line is a representative of the brotherhood, sisterhood of warriors, a few good men and women amongst a sea of darkness. The line that stands between good and evil, the barrier that serves those in need and protects them from the evil amongst us. It is thin because few dare to stand it outnumbered, but united. A line that will not falter in the wake of the enemy, a line of protection for those in need. Now, on one hand, if you're a cop and you really believe in, the stated purpose of officers to protect and serve, it's almost an honorable statement. It's kind of saying, look, we're cops. We're here to help protect people. We're going to stop the bad guys. That's what we do. And I think that's cool. But I think at the same time, the blue line, again, I'm the son of a cop. So, I've thought about this a lot. The blue line also has a negative connotation, right? The blue line has the negative connotation that it leads you to protect those who stand on your side of that blue line, no matter what they do. It means if you are a cop and your partner shoots a little baby in the head, and you're supposed to report that. You're supposed to tell somebody what happened. Because of this blue line, you're not going to do it. When my father joined the police force in the early 80s, I think, he said that they were so racist that they still literally had members of the KKK on the police force. Literally, there were Klansmen on the force with him. And he said that the blue line was so strong that those Klansmen would defend him before they defended a random white person on the street. And it sounds crazy that, a Klansman would defend a black man, but he said that's how strong the blue line was. So ultimately this blue line, which, initially, it's a little bit like, it reminds me of the Me Too movement in the sense that it starts off as an honorable thing that becomes a corrupt thing. Like the Me Too movement, I think it started off great. Let's defend women against assault and harassment. But then it became a witch hunt. It became a tool or weapon for personal vendettas, for false accusations, for unproven attacks on people that did not receive due process, right? So the same thing is true with the blue line. The blue line starts off honorable. The blue line starts off with, let's protect each other. Let's make sure our cops are safe. Let's make sure that the good guys are going to be okay. And then it turns into corruption, where you defend any cop, whether he's a murderer, a child molester, a drug dealer, whatever. And then it ends up becoming something that harms the credibility of the police force. So let's keep going. So here's another thing that she made a comment about Obama, waiting on Obama to attend a cop's funeral. So she's anti-Obama. That doesn't automatically make her racist. I know a lot of black people who are anti-Obama, so I don't think that makes her racist, but it doesn't help. It doesn't help that she kind of seems to be, part of that MAGA group, which I think a lot of us, correctly so, have sort of correlated that with racism. I think the problem, though, is that at the same time, I see a lot of racism on the Democratic side as well. I just think we're not trained to see that because we're trained to believe that the liberals are always the good guys, when sometimes the liberals are the racists too. But anyway, but I wouldn't even give her a hard time about this post if that were the only thing there. But when you add that on with all the other evidence of this woman's clearly disturbed mental state, it kind of speaks to what you're dealing with, what you're kind of looking at. You're looking at a deranged cop who likely shot this black man for a reason. She didn't just shoot him because she thought her home had been invaded. Here's another one. Okay, this is one that she says, people are so ungrateful. No one ever thanks me for having the patience not to kill them. People are so ungrateful. No one ever thanks me for having the patience not to kill them. Again, bad joke for a cop to make. You shouldn't say that as a cop. It makes you look trigger happy and crazy. Here's another one. She talks about Colin Kaepernick. She says the NFL died of colon cancer instead of colon cancer. She says colon cancer. So she's anti-Kaepernick, anti-Obama. So it's almost like, the things that black people love, she seems to hate. And she doesn't just sort of have a quiet disdain for those things. She has a very vocal animosity toward those things. And I do think that does, when you add it all up, kind of speak to a racist disposition. And I think also, it just adds to this fact that just from the beginning, the story never made any sense. It all sounded like bullshit from the jump. And I think all of this added in there says that a deeper investigation is necessary, and maybe, some sort of independent inquiry is necessary. I don't know if it would be federal or what, but at the end of the day, I don't think anybody believes that she accidentally walked into this man's apartment. I don't think anybody believes that she was some sort of innocent victim of a misunderstanding. She shot another person a year ago. Now, it was a different situation, though. It was a little more justified based on the police reports. But at the same time, there's clearly something wrong with this lady. So I'm looking forward to seeing her go to prison. I hope justice is served. And I wanted you guys to kind of see this because it does seem like this lady kind of has an issue. So anyway, I'm about to go. If you want to, come and hang out with us at the All Black National Convention, all this stuff is going to be on the table for conversation from a proactive standpoint. We're going to talk a little bit about the Kaepernick stuff. We'll talk about the Amber Geiger stuff. But more importantly, we're going to talk about a plan for the future so we can protect ourselves against this kind of thing. So that's where you get into issues like, black people having security. I think black people should consider, letting go of this liberal ideology that we don't want our gun rights. I think we should have our gun rights. I think that black people should consider, carrying weapons to protect ourselves if necessary. The liberals are the ones who made you believe that gun control was the solution. I don't know if I believe that's the case. I believe you should make your own decision at the very least. We're going to talk about economic plans, long-term plans for your family, not pie in the sky dreams and hopes of, everybody send me $100 so we can go build some institution. No, it's going to be stuff like, what can you and your family do right now to make sure that your children are millionaires by the age of 30? There's a very simple process to do that. I talked about that a little bit last night. We're going to talk about education. One of the reasons that we struggle as black people is because we allow anybody and everybody to educate our kids. You don't let your enemy control the minds of your children unless you want to die. Why would I let my enemies control the minds of my kids when my children are the ones I'm going to need to carry our family into the next generation? So we're going to talk about some of these great black schools that are out here. We're going to talk about homeschooling processes and methodologies, people that are successful at this, so you can know that you always have a solution. We're going to talk about pretty much everything. A lot of the focus will also be on buying the block. How do we raise money so we can actually engage in what is called Black gentrification? Black gentrification is a concept I put together, a theory that basically comes from the idea that if we pool our resources in a Jay Morrison kind of way on a consistent basis, we actually can gentrify our own neighborhoods. You don't have to sort of sit there in fear that white people are going to come along and tear everything down, kick everybody out, and put a Whole Foods on the corner and a dog park across the street. That doesn't have to be your fate. You don't have to sit there like sitting ducks and be victims. We're going to talk about politics. Are the Democratic and Republican parties really serving our interests? And what do we need to do in order to have the kind of political power that we'd like to have? We're going to talk about relationships. What does it take to bring a Black man and a Black woman together to build a strong family empire? These are recurring discussions with consistent action plans sort of being put together by leading experts from the African American community that you can implement in your own family. So the days of waiting on one or two civil rights leaders to do all the great work are gone. The days of hoping that some Black politician is going to actually get it done for you are gone. The days of thinking that the Democrat or the Republican parties are going to do this for you are gone. I want you as an individual to look at your own family and to say, what can I implement in my family, in my house right now that's going to put me and my family ahead, even if nobody else in the entire Black community comes along with me, right? But fortunately, you've got millions of people that have come along with you, which just, we aren't the majority. We are not the majority. We are niche. We are what I call the talented 10th. The talented 10th is that 10% of Black people that are seeking solutions and not just looking for something else to complain about. So we're very solution oriented. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to show movies. I'm going to show you this new show we created for Netflix called Black Capital, which is basically based on 4 young brothers on the rise who are, in the streets, living life, going to college, doing all kinds of stuff so they can get ahead, and get that paper, right? It's like a really fun type of show by Peter Parker. We're going to show the movie The Melanin Code, which is really, really good. It's good as Hidden Colors. It's right up there in that same category. We're going to show you Democracy, a Black American Horror Story. We're going to have panel discussions on how Kenny Gamble in Philadelphia was able to buy millions of dollars in property in Philadelphia. We're going to have Dr. Claude Anderson there. He's going to give a lecture on Powernomics. We're going to have Dr. Shauna Etienne there, who's going to talk about Black love and relationships. We're going to have Michi X there from Fly Nubian Queen, who will talk about Black activism and strengthening the voice of the Black woman in America. We're going to have Dr. Venetia Dutra there, who is one of the few Black women on earth with a PhD in finance, to talk about building wealth in our community. We're going to have attorney Nicole Compton there, who's going to talk to people about getting your business started, getting your business off the ground. We're going to have Michael Imhotep there from the African History Network, who will talk about the importance of Black history and really making sure our children know who we truly are. We're going to have all these different backgrounds from all these different types of people. I'm talking about all backgrounds, male, female, young, old, educated, uneducated, gay, straight. I don't even care. The only thing that we ask people to consider is that when you walk through that door, I want you to drop every, ounce of clothing that white supremacy has put on you. Drop every label that they put on you. Drop your Democrat Republican label. Drop your LGBT label. Drop your label, your feminist label. Drop all these labels and come in and just put your Blackness first. If you put your Blackness first, then you got a seat at the table. But if you allow the fact that you love Donald Trump to override your Blackness, then you're not welcome. But if you say, hey, I'm Black first, but I happen to like Donald Trump, then come on in. I want to hear what you got to say, right? That's a new way of thinking. You don't get that anywhere else. You don't get that at the NAACP convention. You don't get that at the Urban League. You don't get that at the Congressional Black Caucus. You get something different, but the ABNC is designed to give you something that's completely unique and completely new. It's really designed for Black people who are tired of the nonsense, tired of solutions that aren't working, tired of waiting on Superman, tired of people just sitting around complaining, and want to build for their families for the next generation. So if you want me to describe to you, before I get out of here, what I see as an ideal world for Black people, it is a world where the following things are true. 1, the majority of Black children are going to a school that is run by Black people who are teaching them Black history, Black wealth, Black economics, all these things, as well as reading, writing, math, and Black history. Number 2, the majority of Black people are either running a business or are part of a business that is run by other Black people. We're not asking white people to give us jobs. Number three, the Black family becomes the center of the core institution for the strength of the community. It means, mommy, daddy in the household, raising amazing children, making sure that they are in the forefront of that child's education, and also making sure that all their children are taught to start a business by the age of 12 in case they can't get a job, right? And then there are a couple other things, but that's kind of the core of what we believe in, and that's what it's all about. So if that's who you are and you're looking for something different, then come to the convention, or at least check out the live stream. I guarantee it'll change your life. And you can even look at the footage from the other conventions, and those were amazing also. There's so much power that happens here. It's extraordinary. So if you want to know more, it's in Philadelphia the weekend of September 27th. You can visit allblacknationalconvention.com. That's allblacknationalconvention.com. Last but not least, if you want to see books and things that I recommend for people to read, or let their children read, please visit drboycebooks.com. That's drboycebooks.com. Let me see. Somebody says something about trolling on this page. I don't see any trolling, but it doesn't matter. Trolls don't bother me too much. So if you see a troll, if you're a moderator, delete the troll. But if you can't delete them, just ignore them. All right. I'll see you guys soon. Have a good day.